And good morning and welcome to the Tradinformed live trading model live stream. With me as usual is Ren Vallo. How are you today, Ren?
Good morning, Mark. Doing well. Had a good weekend. And
Excellent.
it's Monday
Excellent.
morning.
So yeah, we're going to be presenting the Tradinformed live model, and I'm just catching up with what is happening at the moment. We are in a strategy trade at the moment, which occurred about 10 minutes ago. So we've got about 10 minutes until the start of the main stock trading session.
Yes.
So I'm going to have a quick look here at
There we go.
the main strategy page. Haven't made any changes since the last one, although I did have a quick look at the profit target and stop loss multipliers. Now we are not in a live trade, and I can see that if I go here, we can see our latest trade is a sold. So I'm not in any live long trades at the moment. But we do have a strategy trade. So that means all it means is that the strategy actually triggered a trade before we were linked up to the rhythmic model.
Right. So to sync up, it's going to have to close that trade.
Sorry about that. We've got some feedback.
So Mark, maybe it's probably the Google stream. Is one of the mics on? Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Do
I
we
think we're back.
Yes. There we go. We also did the time stop our last stream, and we're doing that this time. Are we going to do 20 bars?
20 bars exactly, yeah. So
Perfect. That worked out really well last week.
yeah, I think what I can do, let's just we are in, I keep saying we're in a strategy trade. What I can do is when you're in the model here, you just need to press Control D, and it is, if you saw that on the screen there, I'm showing it with my cursor here, it means that the strategy order placing is disabled, so it won't take any trades. And although we are still linked up to Rhythmic, and we can tell that through the fact that data is still streaming in, and we can see it on here as well. If I go all the way up to the top here, you can see here we're still getting data, the numbers are changing there. But what we can do when we're in this mode, we've not got a trade open, is we can just change the settings. So if we wanted to optimize for anything in particular, we wanted to tighten up the profit target and stop loss, all I would do is change them here and press calculate to update the formulas. So we've only got quite a small sample of trades here. We've got 1,000 rows of data, 1,000 bars of data on the 1 minute time frame. Now this is something we emphasize all the time, isn't it, Ren, that we're trading this strategy on the 1 minute time frame as a demonstration to show you what it can do. Although it's not optimized for the 1 minute time frame, it's going to show us, hopefully today we'll get some trades and we'll see what the model can do.
Yeah, and usually what we see is it smooths out the P&L graph a little bit for us. So we're not getting the big drawdowns that you see, and it works very well. It gives it more of a stair-stepping kind of look.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in the volatile markets, it can help out a lot, especially when we're trending upwards.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's right. So we've got a slightly wider profit target and stop loss. We're trending upwards. We would hope to take a larger profit per trade. So I'm just going to check back here. We can see we're in a trade here. There are a number of different ways to do this.
So we're going to look for a pullback here to close this example trade out, and then hopefully we'll engage and get a brand new one as the market opens. That'd be great.
Yeah.
You can totally see it happening too. The markets are so volatile in the opening bell that it's very possible we get a little pullback to close this one out, or it hits a profit target right away.
So this is the, I'm just looking here, got my cursor on the rhythmic chart here, showing the up to the live market prices. This little uptrend here is what has caused us to trigger the current trade. And let me just see where it is in terms of P&L. We can see that here. So it's just slightly ahead of break even, this current trade. It's ticking through. We're about 4 minutes now to the open. You might notice, depending on where you are in the world, the times here are based on my local time, so the prices automatically adjust to your local time. This is 9:23 a.m. Eastern time, so just before the stock market opens.
Yep. So Mark, that's the East Coast current time, correct? For us, like, so US East Coast time.
That's right. Yeah. That's I was just saying. I was just translating the time. Yeah. So at the moment I'm at 2:23 p.m. here, which is the same as 9:23 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and you could adjust that on rhythmic, however you like to have it show up to.
Okay. So, is that a setting as well?
It is. And just so everyone knows, you can do that, because on mine I'll show 7:30.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you want this is automatically streamed in here in my local time, but are you saying that I could adjust it to Chicago time, to New York time?
You could, yeah, you can adjust it.
Okay, great. So that is a useful feature, because we need to be able to often, particularly when we're trading on the intraday timeframes, we need to be able to adjust for different periods of time. So when we want to be before the markets have opened, after the markets have opened, and it can be convenient to have the main trading session sitting in the middle of the day. So we have 8 to 9 hours before it, but all in the same day. Same 24-hour period, and some hours after it. So we have the pre-market and the after hours. If you wanted to trade the strategy out of hours, we have often seen that the strategy has performed well before the market opens.
It does. It seems to perform really well before the market opens for some reason. This just a typical momentum strategy, nothing in particular. It's been noted to be a good time to trade. Yeah. So that's the thing about automation. Depending on where you are in the world, you can trade it. Just set your automation up to just run during those time periods.
This now I'm using my cursor to highlight the model. In fact, I've got another version of this. So this is what we've seen actually quite typically over the past 3 weeks. And if I just open up this chart here, which is slightly delayed, but it's basically showing the same data on a higher time frame, we can see the uptrend that we've been experiencing for the past 3 weeks or so since we bottomed out.
Yeah, it's been a very solid uptrend, and that's perfect for this particular strategy, a momentum up strategy. It's a long only. It works really, really well. So I think we've outperformed. Like when I look back at the back testing data, it looks like we outperformed the market in some ways, because on some of those pullbacks, we didn't pull back at all. So we just kind of stair-stepped up a little bit. It worked really well.
Yeah. So actually on that note, there are some options that I haven't actually got activated at the moment. But again, it depends on your risk tolerance, how you see the market. Things like a long filter, that is as simple as it comes. You can use a 200 period EMA, for example, just to filter trades and only take long trades when we're above the EMA. All sorts of different ways you could use indicators, or just some way of analysing the current market situation to decide whether or not to take a trade.
Yeah, and this is all decided before you start your trading session too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And it can be weeks or even months before you start, because you can come up with, you can do all your analysis, understand it before there's the stress of the markets are open, Things are happening, the Fed's talking, all these things are happening. You can decide how you're going to play each different situation as it arises.
And that's the beauty of having a one-stop shop where you can do your back testing and trading all on the same platform.
Yeah.
Excel is very, very versatile in this way.
Yeah, exactly. So let me have a look. I'm just going to, we've had the opening bell. There we go. So we've had these two big candles. And since we've been doing these live streams, actually, Ren, we've seen something pretty common.
Yeah,
we've seen a candle that spiked above, and the likelihood is we're going to see it take out these lows. They look very tempting as well.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like every single morning it's the same playbook.
Yeah. So it would not be difficult to come up with some sort of scalping or some sort of model if we can get the if you can get the execution to the level it needs to be to take advantage of the opening market 5 minutes.
I know it's so tempting. We see it every day, and I'm like, oh man, I should really trade this one. Well, I usually try to avoid the opening bell in real trading, though. That's a time period where it's just too volatile for my strategy. But watching this day in and day out, I'm like, wow, we could really capitalize on this.
Exactly, and it really is one for the speed merchants, isn't it? These early times of the day, orders flying in, being able to capitalize to the fraction of a second is at least it looks like to me, is the key to these.
Yep, you have to be faster than most people, and with this strategy, you could be. I mean, this particular product can work at the tick time frame, which is very fast, and so it is possible to do it. And it looks tempting, but I wouldn't recommend it for the average person, though, because you can get yourself into trouble if something went wrong. And
that's right. I mean, as simple as that. The smaller the time frame, typically speaking, the more processing power, sophistication, maybe should we say, that needs to go into the strategy, and like we said, the execution needs to be absolutely dead on to perform at this this sort of speed.
Yeah, you'd have to have a server at the Chicago, exchange, and you can do all that. You can, rent a virtual private server right there at the Chicago exchange. Put this on it. It all is possible, but without doing that, I wouldn't try. Especially from the UK, there's a little bit of latency. Not much though, actually, surprisingly small, but there's a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to put it to chance really, but it's very easy to get a VPS, located near to the exchange. Is very, very common. It's not even expensive these days either, and really it is. I think we've spoken about this before as well. It's probably good practice. It's particularly the shorter the time frame, the more important that execution is.
Yeah, we also talked about the redundancy on the power and all those things that help you out too. So if your power goes out, you're not too worried about it because you've got your VPS working and it's got backup. So those things are all very good.
We can go over them again in a short while, but yeah, you're saying about the fact that at our houses most of us don't have backups that will kick in immediately if we have a loss of power, if we have a dropout in our internet connection.
Yep.
So as we speak, the initial move seems to be to the upside here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's quite a big move there. So we're only still 5 minutes into the session, and I'm going to switch back on my monitor back to the model itself, and it's in profit. The trade that we took, this is a virtual trade. We didn't actually take this.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll hit our profit target, and then we'll get maybe we'll get that mid 15-minute pullback, and then get another trade in, and we can see one live.
Exactly. Yeah. So 14,955 is the target for this one. So let's have another look back here. Yeah, well, it looks like we might have a chance of hitting it. So this, if we do hit it here, very nice start to the day for long traders. again, still the the power in the market, the trend in the market is to the upside.
Yes, it's incredible. These morning bars are so incredible. We see them move 50 points out of nowhere.
Yeah. But this is what we trade NQ for. We're
Yep.
trading it for action.
Yes.
And there's absolutely no reason why this particular model has to be limited to NQ. But we know we're going to get lots of liquidity. We're going to get lots of action and the potential for good trends.
Absolutely, Mark. And the beauty of this is this, like you said, it's not limited to NASDAQ. You could do gold, you could do Bitcoin, you could do the S&P 500, which is a little bit, a little bit less volatile, the Dow, pretty much any product you want to do. You can do Forex. All the few products that are available that you could plug right into this. So there's a lot of things you could trade.
That's right. So this particular model, which I'll just look at in a moment, getting closer to that profit target. This particular model is set up to work with Rhythmic RTrader Pro, which is, I think, still at the moment, or at least mostly, it is futures based. So it is prices straight from the CME, mostly, as I understand it. But it is going to expand into stocks. We've been assured by Rhythmic themselves about that, if it has not done so already. So there are a lot of markets available. I know, Ren, you've used Rhythmic for years, and you found them very good, I understand.
Yeah, I really think they're good service. They have really good service. Its data is fast and accurate, and it covers the products that I trade. So that's why I like. So it's really good. And the integration to Excel is fairly simple as well. I've looked at a lot of different options out there for automated trading. There's a lot of stuff you can see online about all this great automation. But the package that we have here with Excel, I think, is the most straightforward one I've seen. Anybody can really understand it and work with it and adjust the strategies and the automation to their liking. So I really, Mark, I was really watching this last weekend for other products that are out there. And there's a lot of sites out there that have something available. But this one is available today for anybody just to actually download and play with. And since we're using Excel, and Excel connects to many different things, not just Rhythmic, we could go out to interactive brokers. You could do an API to many different brokerage data providers like CQG. But currently we're set up with Rhythmic, and it works well. But we're definitely not limited to Rhythmic. So yeah, and so anybody could download this and plug it into anything they wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we're doing here is the Excel interface with the brokers. So at the moment, the way we get from Excel to the live markets is using Rhythmic. But as you say, in the future, there's going to be other brokers, other exchanges added to that. The key thing is that what we want to do is provide an Excel-based backtesting, first of all, so you can develop, refine, optimize the strategy, and then trade live with the same setup. So the idea we've got, and which should be the idea all the time, is to get your model, get it backtested, get your strategy developed, and then just take exactly those same signals and get them accurately reflected in the markets.
Absolutely. And if you have low latency, you have really good response times. Your actual performance should match your backtesting performance identically. Within, there's always that little bit of slippage when you place a trade on the real live markets, but you're talking like 25 cents or so on a futures contract, where there might be like the bid-ask spreads like 50 cents. So maybe the model will see 25 cents different than your actual fill. But what I've been noticing lately is the average of good fills, bad fills, right? So you get the good fill where you're doing 25% better, 25 cents better than the strategy. And then sometimes you're doing 25 cents worse. And the average is up. So you should match your backtesting strategy almost identical.
That's right, and to an extent that's going to depend on the type of strategy that you're trading. If you're trading a momentum type strategy, where in a way you're trying to keep up with the market, you will probably law of averages suggests that you'll probably get slightly worse fills because the market is moving in your direction. If you're trading some type of a retracement strategy, you should get slightly better on average fills. But I mean, this is something that, you know, again, you can test for, you can analyze for, see what's actually happening, and then use the backtesting functions to find out the best way of dealing with the situation.
That's absolutely a good point. The retracement strategy get a little bit better fills, and on the momentum strategy get a little bit worse. But we're talking 25 cents on a 50-cent spread.
Yeah, these are highly liquid markets. We want the connection should be good.
We should hit a profit target here pretty soon, Mark.
Yeah, actually, one thing I have noticed as we're speaking, so we've dropped off the rhythmic connection while we've been talking. Yeah, so let's so if this happens, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this down. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to reopen it. So it's very easy to reconnect it. I'm not sure if that was something I did while I was too busy talking, but there you go. We've got up-to-date price there, and profit target was hit, in fact, a few bars ago. So first thing I need to do is go back to my place orders charts. I press Control E once, twice, and you can see enabled, and we are on. So we are now taking live trades, and let's hope we get a bit of a pullback.
Yeah, so at this point, we would be looking for a pullback so we can get a new trade. And the market started off really strong today. There hasn't been any pullback on the NASDAQ at all. It's just straight up. So we'd expect something in the next couple of minutes here. So Mark, I'm not able to see the spread, the arch strategy trade right now on the share. So I don't know if that's on our Google.
Yeah, we got disconnected there. You should be back on.
Perfect. Yes. See it. Okay. So we hit our profit target on that one. We've closed that trade. Now we're live trading, waiting for our next opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. So there we have reflected in the results there. There's that trade, the virtual trade. And if we're trading this live, what we're doing here today is demonstrating it, and we're hoping to see a trade being taken and one being closed ideally as well. But if you're trading this live, what you would be doing, of course, is getting connected much earlier before you're ready to trade and leaving it on for some period of time. In fact, the pre-market period has been some of the best trading conditions for this particular strategy. We have found, again, let's go here, back to the chart here. We found this as well. We found that as soon as the market opens, if we have one of these big bounce ups, then that can be a very good trade as well for this particular strategy.
Well, fingers crossed we get a little pullback here. This is one of the strongest moves we've seen out of the gate since we started. So maybe there'll be a little pullback and give us an opportunity.
Yeah. So let's see what it does. So we should get a trade hopefully opening soon. At this stage, I don't want to play around with any of the settings on the spreadsheet. The time for doing that is before the markets are open. Now we're really just letting, in fact, there's nothing that we need to do at all. We're just sitting and watching it and waiting for the right conditions for our trade to be opened.
Exactly. If you want to, we could go over some of the tabs and what they are. Like, so right now we're looking at here all the tabs where you can make your setting changes, but we could also look at the trading tab and the data tab, kind of go over each tab.
Yeah, exactly. So This is what I usually call the results tab. It is basically the nerve center for uh, any type of changes to the settings, such as the profit target, the stop loss. We have got two strategies programmed into this particular model. One of them, which is the one that we have tended to show on our live streams, is strategy one, which I've called trending following. It really is a trend following strategy. It's a momentum type strategy, which was initially developed. I initially developed it for the daily time frame. In fact, for the QQQ Nasdaq on the daily time frame, and it seems to have translated pretty well to the lower time frames. I've also tested it on the 15-minute time frame, and it's worked well there. On the 1-minute time frame, it also performs when we've got some good market conditions as well.
Absolutely.
We've got things like I mentioned this earlier, though, the EMA, the long filter EMA, which is simply exponential moving average that we can activate. It can be, this could be something that you could use during live trading. You could have a variety of filters. If you want to get into more trades, then you might want to switch it off. If you're a little bit anxious about what is happening in the market, you could switch it on and restrict trading to only when the price is above the 200 period EMA, for example. Strategy 2 here is a mean reverting strategy. We haven't seen the conditions that have worked that well for this particular strategy, but it would be very, very easy. So I'm just going to interrupt myself. We've just taken a trade. You can see it just at the corner here. And if I go back here, so this was all the pullback that it's taken to get into this strategy. So we're buying at the highs. So that's the way of it. That's the way of trading. So we may well see a pullback here, but let's wait and see. We're got in at just about the price we are at the moment. So again, we don't need to do anything. We just, all we've seen is that the model plus the rhythmic has opened the trade on our behalf. We can change strategy. This would be something that you don't want to do during a trade. You want to do before your trading session, or even at a pre-decided time. So say 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, you want to switch to a different strategy, then you can do that. Maybe that's why we're having some problem with our...
what happened there, Mark? Yeah.
Yeah, with the model. Let's see if we're still getting data in. Right, so I'm just going to...
We lost our connection.
Could be the connection again, yeah. Okay, so yeah, it might be something we have to look into. Okay, so anyway, yeah, we've taken this trade and it is slightly in profit at the moment. The other thing, sorry, man, go on.
So Rhythmic is taking this trade as well, right? Like the automation placed the trade.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so here we go. Well, we've had a little bounce higher.
Yep. Wow, we did. What happened?
Yeah.
That was quick.
So he's saying here you're up 160 points today, which is a very strong move. Who knows where it came from? That's the thing. Sometimes we just have no idea what the markets are going to do. When we were down here, it would have been quite difficult to imagine a bounce straight up here within about 15 or 20 minutes of the market open, but there we go. Yep, so the spreadsheet, there's so much flexibility built into it. There's so many different settings that some of them are pre-built settings that we've put in there, but it's very easy to amend all these models because it's in Excel. It's very, very accessible.
So yeah, this is just kind of an amazing morning. I'm looking at this. I personally, like, without a strategy that had automation like this, there's no way I would have taken that last trade, like, in a million years. and it pretty much snuck a trade in there right before it exploded higher. And that's the kind of a
yeah, it did. It did. It snuck one in. So when we weren't looking, but we'll see what's happening. But the model is handling all the trading for us. We don't need to worry. The time to worry about it is on the weekend or 2 weeks ago, whenever we've set up the strategy, whenever we've excuse me, we've decided how we're going to play each situation. That's the time to worry about it. We can spend hours and days like we do to analyze the strategy, but then when it's time to go, we can just let it do its thing.
Yep, exactly.
And I think you mentioned earlier, Ren, this is a draft model at the moment. It is available as a free download. So please, if there is not a link below this live stream, I will put a link there if you want to. In fact, yeah, I'll make sure there is definitely a link below this live stream when it is available as a video, so you can download this model for free. You can download Rhythmic for free, and you can get 2 weeks demo account included in that. After that, Ren, you can explain the options.
So yeah, you could just buy the data from Rhythmic, so you continue back testing and going forward in that respect. And that's something that I would recommend to do before you get into live trading. There are plenty of brokerages out there that if you sign up with them and pick one of your choice, that would offer to pay for your Rhythmic subscription too. I know that there's a bunch out there that I've looked at, and Rhythmic will actually tell you which ones that they work with, and most of them will offer to pay for that data service. And it's only about, I think it's like $25 a month for all the data, live data streaming. So it's kind of like, it's almost like if you look at like TD Ameritrade, how they're getting their data and providing it to their clients, you're just paying for that up front so you can do your testing. And that's about it. So yeah, and to connect to live trading, you just need a brokerage that supports Rhythmic. And there's plenty of them out there. Most do. So yeah, it's a really nice, option to have. But yeah, so today's example of trading, there's no way in real life I would have been able to trade that by hand. And I watched the automation just take a trade right in front of us while we're talking, and it's just always awe-inspiring.
Yeah, that exactly. Yeah, because as I keep saying, we've already done the work, so we're just letting the automation do the hard thing, which is actually executing when we know we need to.
Right. There's no way. I would have sat there and looked at it and said, "Oh, I would have been thinking about this. The market's too high. There's no way I'm taking that trade." Even though it matched the strategy perfectly, right? It's our strategy. I would definitely hesitate emotionally. This market is not a good place to place a trade. So
yeah. I mean, it's a natural reaction for most of us. I think we don't want to buy too close to those highs, but if that's what the strategy calls for, then that's what the model is going to do. It doesn't have any emotions.
Yep, none. It just does it.
Yeah. So back to the model. So that trade is still open. We can see here, I've shown this previously, we've got the data streaming into the model. We have up to the minute data. And here, and I'm just going to highlight it with my cursor, we've got the calculations that are going into the strategy. These are very simple strategies. We're just using almost totally just the EMA of varying different lengths. So that is all that we're using for the strategy. The other thing that we can use, and we've touched on this before, is we can use our own trading brain. So if things do not look good for whatever strategy that you have in the model and you don't want to switch it on, you don't want to even start on a particular day, then you don't have to. You're using whatever trading intuition, trading experience that you have to decide when to switch it on and when to switch it off.
Right, exactly. And lately for the last 3 weeks, we've seen this momentum strategy is working very well. So that's why we're using the momentum strategy. But if you were seeing a downward market that was just out of control to the downside, you probably wouldn't run this strategy to, long only strategy. So you just have to get some common sense on when to run your strategies. And you would get that from the back testing you've done over the years. So you pull down years of data and you can see that the strategy performs well in these uptrending markets, and performs not as well in downtrending markets. So you kind of pick your strategy. So we go for like, that's basically how you decide what strategy you're going to run for the week. We've known in the last 3 weeks this has been good, and I guess we've run this until it proved otherwise, right? The market changes character.
That's right, yeah. So until the markets prove otherwise, and we never know when
Oh,
that's going to happen.
we got it. We hit a profit target.
We
It
did,
looks
yeah. Okay, great. So there we go. So
we got
it was
two
here,
trades.
wasn't it? So we've gone straight up from there again. So again, another example of we never know what's going to happen. We never know what's going to happen in the market. We let the model do the work for us.
Yep. And if we're lucky, we might even get an extra one. If we don't need much of a pullback here with this momentum strategy, if we get one, maybe we'll have a third trade for the day.
Mm. Okay, so I'll just have a quick go through the model. So we've already shown the place orders where we can enable and disable. We can look at things like open P&L.
Yep.
We can look at some of the screens, data screens that you get in Rhythmic, showing you open positions, showing you what you've done on a trading day, the market that we're trading here. This one here, which is full of numbers, is actually a really good analytical tool if you want to look at streaming price data, you want to look at the bid-ask spread or anything like that, any sort of technical analysis of what is happening right up to the minute. You can take the information through from here.
Yeah, you've got a lot of information to work with all these different tabs on the spreadsheet.
Exactly. So there we go. We have the somewhat surprising but very nice to see another strong day for this strategy. So we've had the momentum trades, one that we missed and one only because it happened before we'd actually started the live stream, but a virtual trade that would have been taken, and another trade which followed straight on from that.
Yeah, this is the most impressive opening we've seen in the 3 weeks we've been doing this.
Yeah, so that's up 180 points today. So that is a very, very nice start. What are we, 30 minutes into the full trading session? I predicted back here that we would take out these lows. We've done nothing of the sort. We have gone, goodness me, yeah, so 150 points in the other direction without taking out these lows. So again, it goes to show that whatever preconceived ideas we've got, if we'd been day trading this ourselves, we might have expected, well, I'm going to wait until we've taken out that lows. The market's just moved too quickly. We don't have to think about it. We can just trust to the strategy.
Yeah, the strategy has proven in this type of market, it works, and we just let it do its thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right then, Ren. So I think this has been another good demonstration day. We'll arrange another one of these very soon. Great to speak to you. I don't know if you have any final thoughts as we're just again pushing up to the highs of the day.
Yeah, so I was wondering if any of our viewers have any questions they want to ask, or if we could answer any questions about this, what's happening with the automation. Are they able to send in a question if they have any?
Yeah, the chat's open. So yeah, if you're watching this live, feel free to put in a question as we're getting up to further new highs of the day. Any thoughts about the model, market conditions, or the strategies, anything that we've spoken about today?
Yeah. Otherwise, if there's no questions, I'm ready to roll. But we're looking forward to doing this again. And today was like a perfect example of why we want to use automation on a backtesting strategy that we've proven that works in certain market conditions like today's. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're more than happy to answer questions. If not, you can reach me at tradinformed.com. Ren and I will be happy to answer any questions either today or any future webinars. We're now going to be holding these regularly. We're going to be regularly updating the draft model, but you can get this exact version that we have been demonstrating today. You can connect it to Rhythmic the same way we have been doing today, and there are videos showing you how to do that. It is there and waiting to be used. We will be bringing this out as a full commercial product very soon, I hope. but at the moment it is available for testing, for feedback. Let us know if you're already using it.
Yeah.
So we've got a comment there. Chariots of Diet, nice name. Very interesting, well done. I have a system that your many videos have helped. Well, thank you. And are you planning to use this trading model, or are you just interested as to what we're doing today? Well, I'm glad we can help there. Feel free to, if you've got any comments about this model at all. The thing is about that we've been saying about, or just really to comment on that. Fantastic. Yeah, so plan to use the model as well. That's fantastic. Hi, Chris. So it's great, Chariots to Die. Great you plan to use the model, Chris. This is if you're familiar with the Tradinformed backtest models, they are, as the name suggests, really designed to backtest. So they're designed to do all the analysis before you use some other way of trading the markets, buying and selling in the markets. What we've got here is a combination model developed jointly with Ren and myself to connect a special form of the backtest models directly to the market. The way we're doing it here today, the way we're demonstrating, is through the Rhythmic RTrader Pro trading terminal. And the reason we're using them is because they already have a good way to connect via Excel. But the key thing we're doing is providing the Excel model that enables you to backtest, optimize, refine, and then use that to go straight into, like we've been showing today, straight into trading the markets.
Yep. It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, one-stop shop, as Ren says. Okay, so Chariots of Dire, primarily based on diversion, amongst other things. So, yeah, fantastic. I mean, we've said again today, that's the thing about Excel. It's so good at analyzing all sorts of market phenomenon, divergence between, goodness, highs and lows between different markets. So we can do all that sort of thing. And with this particular model, like we showed earlier, the prices are streaming into the model, so you can do things on the fly while the markets are open, look for opportunities around that as well.
Yep.
Okay, how can we get this model? That's a very good point. Yeah, so the model is available for free, and what I'm going to do, I should be able to put it into the chat. So let me just do that now. So just get the link. Won't take me one moment. This model is a download. It's got videos, explains you how to connect. When you first do it, it does seem a little bit confusing, but it really isn't. You saw me, I had to reconnect it today. It really only takes a moment. Do you have the link, Ren? I've got it here. So yeah, so it is available free of charge for download. The only thing we would suggest is that you provide us with comments how it might help you, what are the features you would like to see, and we will do our best to update it as soon as we can.
Yes, and I would say if you do hook it to a live trading account with a brokerage connected, be careful that you're just doing your testing. This is still a version that we consider a prototype, and yeah, if you do try to use it for real trading, just at your own risk, kind of a thing. But it would actually work and place trades for you. So just beware of that if you have it with a live brokerage account. If you're just doing it with Rhythmic as a data service, there's no chance to place an actual live trade, but they do allow you to place paper trades, which will simulate the live trades, and they record that for you, what your performance was, and send you back a response that you filled a trade just like you would as if it was live. So that's kind of one of the advantages to having it not connected to a brokerage system. There's no chance to take a live trade, but you can still record them as if they were.
Okay, that's an interesting feature there.
Yeah. Connected to a brokerage firm, you could place demo trades or you could place live trades. So you have to be careful. This particular account that we're using today is not connected to a brokerage firm. It's 100% just data streaming. And we do record the trades as if they had been placed through a brokerage, but they're not actually placed.
Yeah. Okay. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in a comment. As soon as we finish this live stream, I'm going to find the correct link and I'll post it in the comments. That should be updated in just a moment. Cherry Sadar, use Excel to MT4, right? The RTD connection. Actually, that's something that I've looked at before, the Excel to MT4. I'm not familiar with that one, but I'll have a look into it. You find that works well? I've used MT4, MetaTrader 4 a lot in the past, although I don't use it currently, and it is a very good and flexible trading platform. It is probably not as good, if I'm quite honest, as what you get with Rhythmic, but it's not trying to be. It's a different type of platform. Rhythmic is a lot more full-featured, but it is more expensive as well, and it is also focused on futures.
Yes. We've actually played with MT4 and the connection, and you can get that to work with Excel. It will work. But yeah, I think the data stream is a little bit better with the Rhythmic for this particular type of trading.
Exactly, and there's no reason, in fact we've spoken about it, Ren, that we may well be able to provide this particular model with a connection to MetaTrader 4 as well. So any of the brokers that allow us to connect to their directly via Excel, there is a potential for us to add that. Difference between this model and the ones on the website. Well, this is a cross between a pure backtest model and a simple trading model. So what it allows you to do, if I go back to the model on my screen, what it allows you to do is to backtest first of all. So you can set up your strategy, develop your strategy, optimize it, whether that's over the long term or over the short term, and you can get the strategy exactly how you want it to be, opening and closing at the right times. And then what you need to do is just go into live trading mode and it will take the trades for you exactly as shown in your strategy. So that is the key difference, that this is more, it's a backtest model, but it's more than that as well.
Absolutely.
It works with stocks. It would absolutely work with stocks. The only limiting factor is that at the moment is the connection that we use to get to the markets is via Rhythmic. So it is all the markets, and they are predominantly a futures broker, work with futures markets, I should say. So it's not at the moment. I don't know, Ren, have you seen any updates? As far as I know, they were looking to get a connection to the NASDAQ. I don't know if that's proceeded yet.
I haven't seen it happen yet, but it is in the works. That's happening. So it's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so absolutely no reason why you couldn't trade stocks, commodities, forex, bonds, indices, whatever you like to trade. All of them you can do using this model. There's no distinction between them. The only thing is the current connection, and we're just using this as a demo. The current connection is via Rhythmic, and they are better at futures in terms of the markets, the range of markets that they offer.
Primarily they're using all the CME products. So you can do the rates like ZB, ES for the S&P 500, NQ for the NASDAQ. They support all of the CME products. They, like you said, they're in the process of getting ready to support all the NASDAQ ETFs and stocks as well. So that, I know that if you do, that would be a separate data service you would pay for them. I think they charge a small nominal fee for every exchange that you add. Currently, we're just doing CME products right now, but if they add NASDAQ, I'm sure there'll be like an extra $10 a month for that particular exchange, because the way that Rhythmic works is they charge you per exchange. And so we're just currently subscribed to CME. And I think they do support other ones, Mark, that we haven't subscribed to, but because they do worldwide markets as well. So I'm only subscribing to the CME, but they do support more futures products around the world than that we subscribe to, and the Nasdaq's going to be one in the future. And we may very well subscribe to it, so we can do that for demonstrations. We could do QQQ or one of those. We could trade Tesla or whatever we want to trade.
Some of the Tesla, yeah, of course, and some of the leveraged ETFs would be fascinating as well. Although we might use a slightly bigger time frame because they've got so much potential volatility baked into them anyway. So yeah, no reason in principle ETFs, any markets that are trading.
Can you imagine that SQQQ this morning? that triple leveraged Nasdaq. If we had that running this morning, it would have been a crazy one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, SQQQTQQ would have gone straight up as well, but even 3 times quicker or more. Just to confirm, this is Ren Vallow that is on the webinar with me. Ren is the expert in the connection with the trading side of it. He's a programmer, and Ren actually had the idea of this project and he brought it to me. What we've done really is combine his work and his knowledge with the backtesting software and the backtesting Excel models that I already had. So it is a joint project, and Ren is very much the expert on that side of it, the trading side and the connection to the markets.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And I think it's a perfect merger of the two technologies, because having the back testing and the trading together in one model just makes sense. It looked like a perfect merger. So I was like, we got to put these together.
Great. Right. I think we're going to end this live stream now. We've had some good trades, had some good examples. It's been great to have some chat. There will definitely be more of these coming in the future, and I will definitely post the link where you can get this model. You can download it and it will show you the steps that you need to do to download the model, to download the Rhythmic software. You can sign up for a free account, which only lasts for 2 weeks. After that, you would need to either fund a trading account or pay for the demo data. After that, it really is so easy to get started. So thank you, Ren. It's been great to speak to everybody today, and I look forward to speaking with you and hopefully some of the people on the live stream very soon.
Thank you. That was a good one.
Okay.